It's hard to step out of the shadow of the largest media franchise of all time. Trying such a move takes a great deal of risk and innovation to pull off, and that's exactly the type of project Game Freak has created with their latest release, Beast of Reincarnation. The Pokemon developer has had numerous titles outside the famed monster catching series, but this may be their most ambitious one on all accounts. But can Beast of Reincarnation stand tall as another pillar for Game Freak? Let's find out. Beast of Reincarnation's narrative is core to the game's identity. It's ironic that one of the game's themes involves defining what a soul is and its relationship to humanity, as Beast of Reincarnation's greatest strength is the amount of soul it has across its roughly 20-hour journey. You play as Emma, an artificial being without a soul who must rid the world of a dangerous plague on humanity known as Blight. As a sealer, Emma can absorb Blight, making her the perfect candidate to absorb the power of Blight-born beasts known as Nushi, in order to gain enough strength to take down the Beast of Reincarnation that's threatening the world. Along the way, Emma is joined by a wolf companion named Ku, who fights alongside her using a similar power to her own. The pair of Emma and Ku make up the heart of Beast of Reincarnation, as we see Emma discover her own humanity through bonding with Ku. Beast of Reincarnation is very much a product of its inspirations, influenced by works such as Princess Mononoke and most of all, Nier Automata. As such, the game is not afraid to ask deep questions and take its story to strange and thought-provoking places. While not necessarily groundbreaking, it takes the ideas explored by its numerous inspirations and expands upon them in new ways, which is sure to delight fans of this type of storytelling. The story of Beast of Reincarnation sets up a wonderful world to explore, full of intrigue and soul unlike almost any other game we have seen from Game Freak, and I sincerely hope we get to see them branch out further in this direction. It's not just the story where Beast of Reincarnation's influences shine through. Gameplay borrows just as much from its contemporaries, combining the frantic sword-based combat of games like Sekiro or Stellar Blade with menu-based command mechanics similar to those seen in the Final Fantasy VII Remake series. In fact, Game Freak may have even gotten carried away with their influences, as the game has an overwhelming amount of systems and mechanics that can be a lot to take in for most players. Let's keep it simple with combat. Parrying is the crux of most encounters, as you will have to learn enemy attack patterns and time your parries to avoid damage. These parries not only keep you alive, but also fuel Ku's action gauge, which can be used to slow down time and select a move from a menu for Ku to execute. Both your sword and Ku's attacks can inflict status effects on enemies to hinder their moves or slowly whittle down their health, depending on their weaknesses. Additionally, Emma can learn a variety of combo moves with devastating finishers to really dish out some damage when your enemy is vulnerable. These moves are learned through a literal skill tree that features a massive amount of branching paths to allow you to customize your play in whatever way you like. Battles are fun and frantic throughout the game, and provide a unique take on a traditional Souls-like combat. Like others in the Souls genre, Beast of Reincarnation can be punishing at times with its difficulty. However, players may find it sits in an odd in-between, proving to be very challenging for players new to this style of game, but not challenging enough for hardcore fans of the genre. This lack of challenge largely stems from the sparse variety of enemy types, including some recycled boss battles that may feel a bit repetitive to some. The game does feature 3 difficulty settings to account for player skill, with story mode making combat a breeze, and hard mode adding a little bit of extra challenge for veterans. Outside of combat is where things really get interesting. Emma's powers allow her to grow vines from her hair to use in a variety of ways, exploration being chief among them. Rather than a typical double jump, Emma can use her vines after she jumps to grow a platform that lifts her high into the air. Additionally, Emma can also use her vines as a grappling hook to zip to certain ledges, and even construct a bridge she can use to cross gaps at will. The combination of these abilities results in some of the most satisfying movement I've experienced in a game, as you whip through environments and constantly reach places you wouldn't expect you could. While the story takes you down a fairly linear path, each map has many more areas to explore than meets the eye, and Emma's vine movement allows for varied terrains that add a dimension of verticality to the world, leading to even more areas to explore. While combat and exploration are the meat and potatoes of Beast gameplay, they are far from the only ingredients, and unfortunately these other ingredients can muddle the overall dish at times. Just to name a few, other facets of Beast of Reincarnation include bonding with party members, cooking, gardening, upgrading your weapons and base, a day-night cycle, a calendar system, a hunger mechanic, and the ability to raise chickens. If I'm being honest, I was able to play through the entire game having no idea how the day-night, calendar, or hunger mechanics even worked. At times, it felt like there was no idea left on the cutting room floor of Game Freak, and it results in a bit of an overwhelming experience for players at first. Overall though, the meat and potatoes of this dish still shine through and provide a fun and exciting experience for players throughout the game. This game's presentation is perhaps both its greatest strength and greatest weakness. Let's start with the not so good. While I played on PS5 Pro and experienced very few hiccups, the game has been reported to have some performance issues on less powerful hardware. Overall, gameplay was smooth, however in situations involving a large number of enemies or large boss enemies, the frame rate did slow down, especially when using Ku's attacks that often produce a large amount of gorgeous but hardware-intensive visual effects on the battlefield. Speaking of difficulties involving bosses and enemy hordes, the game's camera can struggle to keep up at times, resulting in some erratic movements when locked onto enemies. However, this is an issue that Game Freak confirmed they plan to address quickly in a patch. When it comes to the voice acting performances of our main cast, it's also a bit of a mixed bag. Emma is designed to be an emotionless character, which can lead to the dub feeling very stiff and stilted at times. Despite this, I didn't feel like it was an obstacle in getting to know the cast of characters and connecting with them. So where does Beast of Reincarnation excel in its presentation? Well, pretty much everywhere else. The soundtrack features some absolutely stellar music that perfectly fits the post-apocalyptic setting and tone. Perhaps most striking is the game's art direction. Despite going for a more photorealistic look, Beast of Reincarnation's visual style is distinct, with an emphasis on flowers and nature blooming throughout. Its world is teeming with nature constantly fighting the unnatural state of the world around it. This is reflected not only in the game's environments, but also in the animal enemies you'll encounter along your journey. The aforementioned floral effects Ku and Emma leave behind are absolutely gorgeous to look at and help liven up some of the tense fights. Beast of Reincarnation's soul really comes from the isolated atmosphere it establishes. When you take on the game's massive bosses, you're generally not greeted with a flashy cutscene like in most games. Instead, you wander into their lairs as they go about life peacefully, and initiate the fight with an attack. It gives the sense that you're really hunting these beasts, and evokes the same type of somber emotion experienced when taking down Colossi in a game like Shadow of the Colossus. Game Freak truly had a vision in mind for Beast of Reincarnation, and the game complements itself perfectly as a result. Make no mistake, Beast of Reincarnation has some rough edges, but Game Freak undeniably put plenty of heart and soul into this title, and the result is an incredible experience that showcases the full potential of the studio. Overall, I loved Beast of Reincarnation, and I really hope that we get to see Game Freak build upon this title for even more experiences like it in the future. That's going to do it for me. Be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more reviews and all things gaming. Ciao guys!